Why this endorsement? Why now?
Well, Stephanie, I mean, it's clear that President Biden is really interested in implementing gun safety measures, common sense, gun violence prevention measures. I've been doing a lot of work the last 10 years with a lot of different gun safety prevention people like Brady, Giffords, Sandy Hook Promise, March for Our Lives. I've learned so much, and I know that we can prevent lives. President Biden is adamant that he's going to push for common sense laws that can do that. I know that President Trump will not do that, and so it's really a very simple choice for me.
So are you voting for Joe Biden or against Donald Trump?
No, I'm voting for Joe Biden, but I think the biggest thing for me is, everybody needs to vote their conscience. I'm voting on a few issues, but this is the main one. I lost my father to gun violence when I was 18 years old, so I know how much pain people go through every single day in this country. I know that gun violence is the #1 killer of children in America, and I know that there's so much that we can do about this. And I think most people out there agree with me, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. 80% of people in this country want universal background checks, whether it doesn't matter your political affiliation. We can do this, but we kind of have to steer the cruise ship there. It's going to take some time, but we need to implement laws that the vast majority of our country want, and President Biden is willing to do the work to try to get those changes.
You have said in the past that before you lost your father, as you said, when you were only 18, you felt like your life was impenetrable, right? Nothing could get you down. Bad things didn't happen to you. What do you say to all the folks out there who think gun violence is a problem, but it won't affect their life, so they don't make it a voting priority?
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. It's such a common occurrence. The chances are likely that you won't be impacted, but there's a very good chance that you will also. And that's a scary thought. I'm a recent grandfather. I have a granddaughter who's 18 months old. And, I'm thinking a lot about when she goes off to kindergarten and she's going to have to go through mass shooting drills and the trauma that our kids all across America go through just from those drills and the possibility of facing that kind of situation. It's so traumatizing, and it's just a terrible thought that all of our children are feeling this way. And again, we know that common sense laws save lives. They absolutely do. And there's so much that we can do. And it's kind of, my civic project that I really like to work on is just, trying to help get the, as I said, the cruise ship moving, because it's going to take a lot of work. But it really is up to us as private citizens to insist that our government, take the necessary moves to make that happen.
Steve, there's a lot of other public figures who share your views. Many did endorse President Biden in 2020, but many are staying quiet now because expressing public views right now is getting more and more difficult. The backlash is real. This is not going to be easy for you. You're going to get heat from all sorts of people. Why did you decide to speak out?
Well, it's just too important to save lives and to, I think, do something that's important for our country. Not that I'm going to be able to do anything by myself, but I do have a platform. And if I can at least get the message out there, I think it's so important for families to talk about this issue, neighbors, friends. This is not an attack on the Second Amendment. This is about implementing things that can save lives. And again, it could be your own child, it could be your own mother or father, could be you. And we have to understand the gravity of gun violence in our country and not just pass it off as, well, this is the price of freedom, and that's what a lot of people say. Well, we have to have the freedom that the Second Amendment provides us. But freedom should also be kids being able to go to school and not being afraid. And there are ways to do this. We can protect the Second Amendment, but also protect our citizens with some really simple laws. But we just have to get everybody on board. You know, it's such a political hot button, but it's really not a common thought in our country that this is a controversial issue. It's not. As I said, 80% of people want universal background checks. We should have that, and that alone would save hundreds, if not thousands, of lives every year in America.
You said it right there. It is a political hot button issue, but not when you go into people's homes and you sit at their kitchen tables and you talk to them about what matters to them. I do want to talk to you about something else that matters to you that you know a lot about, and it's obviously basketball. Before you go, you played with Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls. You know how this superstar was treated early and the attention he got. Given your experience, your firsthand knowledge, what do you think of Caitlin Clark's treatment so far in the WNBA?
I think it's kind of a rite of passage, you know, for young players, whether it's the WNBA or the NBA. The other players are going to test you. And actually, Caitlin reminds me a lot of Steph Curry. And a lot of people may not remember this, but in Steph's first couple of years, you know, he was not a superstar. He was not who he is now. He had to get stronger. He had to understand people were coming after him. That's what's happening with Caitlin right now. I think it's all in the name of competition. She's handling herself beautifully. She's an amazing player, but like every college player who comes into the WNBA or the NBA, it takes time. They've got to get stronger, you know, more used to the contact, the physicality, the athleticism. So she'll be fine. And I think everything she's going through right now is just all part of being a pro.
What do you think about the fact that she won't be at the Olympics? You'll be there.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You know, I'm sorry for her that she won't be there, but I'm sure she'll have a great chance in 4 years. Listen, when you put these Olympic teams together, all you care about is winning. And, you know, it's probably going to take Caitlin a couple of years to really be at the top echelon. I think the women's team is taking the 12 players they think can help bring home a gold. And that's exactly what the men's team did. And, you know, that's the name of the game. So no politics in the Olympics. We just want to win.